There's three major problems with getting high, whether that's from weed, nicotine, alcohol, or other drugs. And these are problems that I personally experienced after struggling with addiction for a period of 10 years. And in today's brief video, I want to talk to you guys about those problems because there's a good chance if you're struggling, you're going to relate. If you're new to the channel, my name's Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs, which are dedicated to helping people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content, substances I once struggled with. Problem number one with getting high is that the high is a lie. When we first start out getting high, yes, you might have initially had fun. And that high promises you relaxation. That high promises you stress relief. That high promises you recreationally it's going to be a good time. But when we cross over into addiction, that high actually just becomes our next low point in life. Someone recently asked me what getting high feels like. And I said, imagine the lowest you've ever felt if you get high long enough. And imagine going lower than that. That is what a high is. Here I was chasing a high that no longer existed, a high that I could no longer achieve. Because a problem with getting high from a drug is you build up a tolerance. And as that tolerance builds up, nothing gives you those same effects that you had the first few times. And then you spend your life chasing what you think is going to be a high when all it really is something providing you with life's next low. It's amazing after 10 years of addiction how many low points I actually found, how many trap doors I fell through when I was chasing what I thought was a high. So that's the first major problem with getting high. The high is a lie. The second major problem with getting high is it usually winds up putting us in a state of isolation. When we get high repetitively over and over again, that is all we become motivated to do. And what happens when we do this? We start to isolate ourselves. We might isolate ourselves from work. We might isolate ourselves from relationships, from friends, from family, from our job, from our career, from our school. And it isolates us. That's what addiction's goal is. Addiction's goal is to create isolation, so we feel like that's the only thing there to comfort us. And that's the second problem with getting high. Getting high creates a state of isolation. And when we become isolated, we actually start to miss out on all of the opportunities that life might present to us if we weren't getting high there. We miss out on the actual highs in life. The high of getting a new job, the high of getting a new relationship or deepening the one we currently have, the high of getting closer to our family, getting closer to faith if that's what you're into. We miss out on the actual highs that life provides us. And I refer to life as highs and drugs as actually lows. There is no high with a drug. There's only another low point, right? I shouldn't even call it getting high. I should call it getting low. And the reason for that is because a high is driven by a dopamine release. And when we're doing the same thing over and over and over again, getting high, going home after work, getting stoned, going home after school, getting stoned, that same boring routine over and over again, it loses its excitement. It loses its high. As human beings, we're meant to pursue something different. We are meant to challenge ourselves. We are meant to pursue things that we take interest in. And trust me, if you do the same thing over and over and over again and never change it up, you're going to get sick of it. It's going to lose its initial high. That could be a job, that could be a thing, that could be whatever, any number of things. Stuff gets boring. And that's the other major problem with getting high. But if we just keep pursuing that high, we're going to keep missing out on all of the highs that life actually has to offer. And the third problem with getting high is it hijacks our motivational pathway, which is dopamine. Every time we smoke, drink, do drugs, our brain releases dopamine. And what happens over time is we enter into a state of dopamine deficit. So we wind up running low on dopamine. And we start to lose that motivation. We start to lose that drive. We start to lose interest in things in life that once brought us joy, or we start to lose interest in pursuing new things, new opportunities, new investments, new careers, new relationships, new hobbies. Because the only thing we become motivated to do when we're under the influence of a high, or rather I should call it a new low from a drug, is continue to pursue and use that drug. And those are the three primary problems with getting high. Getting high is a lie. It's not actually high that we're getting. It's just bringing us to our next low point, especially when we cross over to addiction. Getting high robs us of our motivation, and getting high creates isolation, and isolation is what robs us of opportunity in relationships, friendships, career goals, any number of things. Now, there's a million other problems with getting high, and there's a million other problems that people make, or mistakes that people make when they try and stop getting high on drugs. And I made a video for you guys called the top 7 mistakes I made trying to quit smoking weed. So either go check that out or head down to our pinned comment, the link in my profile or the video description, to learn a little bit more about our free and paid programs that we offer here at Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching. One of which is our accountability community. One of the things I wish I had when I was trying to stop getting high was a community of people that I could relate to. And I had a really hard time finding that when I quit. I also had a really hard time reaching out and asking for help. Had I asked for help and been part of a community, I think my quitting process would have been 10 times easier. So check that out in the pinned comment or the link in the profile. And if you don't feel like checking that out, hop into the next video with me where I talk about 7 mistakes I made trying to quit smoking weed. I'll see you guys there.